students have been able to use ChatGPT to help them in their writing. They may have some sort of writer's block, but they get a little bit of inspiration through ChatGPT, and then they're able to take some information and they're able to learn how to write something a little more proficiently. So we've seen that in some classrooms. Again, it's not one of those things that we're doing district-wide just yet, but individual teachers have had a lot of success in using this. And those are some of the advocates of making sure that we as a district continue to use ChatGPT.
You're listening to the smartsocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Ochs. This is our District Talk segment where we interview district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday shine online. Now, let's get back to the interview.
Hello, I am Iranetta Wright, Superintendent and CEO of Cincinnati Public Schools in Cincinnati, Ohio. We serve about 36,000 students across 66 schools. We are the second largest school district in Ohio.
Hi, Todd Cutler, Superintendent, Lake Tahoe Unified School District. Lake Tahoe Unified is in the city of South Lake Tahoe and surrounding areas. Just across the border is Nevada and state line. We have just under 4,000 students in our school district. Of those students, about 60% are free and reduced.
Hello, this is Marco Viegas. I'm the superintendent, the proud superintendent of El Rancho Unified School District located in Pico, Rivera. We're a school district of about 7,500 students, one high school, 3 middle schools, and 8 elementary schools. We also have an adult school as well.
How is your school district approaching AI tools like ChatGPT?
So I think the one thing that's important as we think about how we approach some of the AI tools, specifically ChatGPT, maybe one of the examples that we use, is recognizing that AI is here to stay. And it's really important that we are preparing our students and equipping them with what they need to appropriately use the resources that are available to them. While this is a tool for students, it is important that we connect with what are the protocols, what are the procedures that students would need to use to effectively utilize any AI tool that they're looking to use.
GPT. It's really interesting to me because I have a board member that has been saying this to me for almost 2 years. We've got to get ahead of this. We've got to get ahead of this. And I was concerned about jumping ahead of something that we don't necessarily know how our teachers and our students are going to respond with the advancement in the technology. So we're approaching it cautiously and carefully and really looking at how is the technology advancing and how are we going to move forward with our policies and procedures?
You know, that has been or has the potential of being a game changer, unlike anything that we've seen. And the truth is that we've taken it slowly. We've been able to say we know that it's out there. We know that we have a lot of conversations to discuss about what's the viability of it. And we've started having those conversations. We've started having those conversations with our teachers. They've come together to discuss what are some of those parameters that we need to have in order to be successful in the application of ChatGPT. We know that it's got so much potential in helping our students with writing, with accessing information at such enormous speeds. But we also know that it has some negative parts that could happen as a result of that. And we just have to be very careful as we start building it into our programs. You know, what's that going to look like? Because once we go a certain direction, it's going to be really hard to turn back.
Are there any positive use cases that you've heard about from students or teachers around AI tools like ChatGPT?
While we think about ChatGPT as the AI tool, AI has been around for decades. And when I think about positive cases, I think that ChatGPT itself is still a relatively new tool that we're exploring, at least in our school district. And I don't want to just call out ChatGPT selectively as the only AI tool, but do consider using or thinking about how we could build other AI tools into our curriculum. One of the things that we're working on for the upcoming spring is we are working with a task force, a small committee made up of a variety of individuals in the district to really add a procedure and process to think about how we are integrating AI into the work that's happening in classrooms. So whether that is helping students understand how to utilize the resource for additional research, whether that is helping them to monitor how they're writing essays, whether that is helping them to look at what they're doing, how they're doing lists and how they're doing research. There are opportunities for use, and we want to make sure that we're giving our students the right tools in order to be able to do that in the classroom.
You know, we recently had some training, and one of the sessions was around how our teachers using ChatGPT. And actually, I will tell you that conversation went really into, we need policies, we need direction. What's interesting to me, because I think teachers are worried about how are they using it, and 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 they're looking to administration, they're looking to the superintendent, looking to the board for policies so that they can decide how they're using it. With that said, I think that there's an opportunity, and I've talked to some teachers about that opportunity of why run away from ChatGPT, and why not have students use it, and then have students be open and honest that they're using it and make adjustments and changes from there. And a few teachers are actually trying those concepts out, I think with some success at this point.
Our teachers that have been using this have gained a lot of information related to how to do something simple, like they might put into ChatGPT, I need to create a lesson related to the revolution. And the information that they get allows them to really start thinking about different ways to enhance their lessons. And so some of our teachers have been able to develop different types of slide decks and presentations that have helped them engage their students at higher levels. Students have been able to use ChatGPT to help them in their writing. They may have some sort of writer's block, but they get a little bit of inspiration through ChatGPT, and then they're able to take some information and they're able to learn how to write something a little more proficiently. So we've seen that in some classrooms. Again, it's not one of those things that we're doing district-wide just yet, but individual teachers have had a lot of success in using this. And those are some of the advocates of making sure that we as a district continue to use ChatGPT.
With regards to ChatGPT, are you changing any of your techniques for grading students and the types of assignments being used in the classroom?
We have not at this point when we think about the use of ChatGPT and whether or not we are changing our techniques or how we're thinking about grading or assignments. We have not made changes at this point. However, the task force that we will work with up through the spring, we'll look at the kinds of recommendations and suggestions that they have. It is important, and we do think it's important that we teach children how to evaluate their own work and how to evaluate that work as original work, as well as how to think about how we use additional sources. And I remember when the internet came about and you had Wikipedia, for example, that's an area that we really had to talk to students about because so much information is there, but how do you really use the internet to then evaluate the reliability of sources that you have? The same is true as you think about AI and making sure that students know how to do the same and understand the difference in their own work and academic honesty and academic dishonesty and plagiarism and all of those things as well.
Again, I think we're, for our district, it's, we're not there yet, right? We're not ready. I wouldn't tell you we've changed grading techniques or types of assignments. We're in that exploration of what this looks like moving forward. I think that this is the opportunity to embrace new technology. I think back when phones came into the schools and I was a principal and everybody wanted to get them out of the classroom because they were going to be disruptive. And the reality of it is very difficult to do that, but also they're missing out on the opportunity for students to have information right at their fingertips. And I think that we should consider embracing this technology, ChatGPT and others, and determine what our ability and capacity to expand the opportunities for growth and learning and better writing and reading, instead of running away from it. But we're not there in regards to specific gradings, the grading plan or assessing students and determining grades.
That is one of the conversations that we're having with teachers. Teachers are wondering, what is the implication of this? Because if we were having to memorize certain things, ChatGPT now may be giving us information that students don't necessarily have to memorize. So the approach to teaching and learning is going to change. And right now, we haven't made any modifications with this as of yet because there's a limited use of ChatGPT. But those are the conversations that we're starting to have with our teachers is how is ChatGPT going to impact the outcomes? What is it going to look like? The production of knowledge, and how do we verify what students know? Traditionally, we might have given them a test. In the past, we might have given them some writing assignments, but now we're going to have to be more sophisticated in how do we measure what they actually know? So there may be more presentation so we can hear from students what they're doing. There may be more types of projects that are created that use ChatGPT to demonstrate what students know. But the way that we're going to evaluate what students know on certain subject matters is going to look different.
Thanks for listening to our smartsocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Ochs. This was our District Talk segment where we interview school district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday launch into their future by shining online. This episode was brought to you by our smartsocial.com VIP program. It's called the Very Informed Parent Program, which helps you engage your students with teen-led video lessons. Stay one step ahead with our premium parent newsletter and discover hidden features on trending apps on teens' phones and our 54 plus live parent and student-friendly events every single year. You can click on the link below to chat with one of our team members if you want a free pass to our VIP program to support your community with our smartsocial.com resources. And if you're a district leader who has a success story, we would love to feature you on a future episode. You can click the links below to reach out. Thanks so much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Have a great day.